Hey, welcome back to Five Lakes Garage, and again, we're back out here on the trail. But today we don't have Mr. Jones here, we have Mr. Eric. And you probably have heard Mr. Johnston's name quite a few times in quite a few the other videos, because he's contributed to a lot of stuff that we use. One in particular is that Mr. Jones's rock sliders, that you made those right when you were making yours. So anyway, we're going to do a quick walk around of his Land Cruiser 80. And that would be a FZJ80. So anyway, so what year is it?
94.
94, and obviously it's a Toyota. And it's the FZJ80.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you know what the J stands for, right?
Yeah, it means it's an improved Jeep.
I'll buy that one. Yes, I would totally agree with that, since I do drive Jeeps. All right, what size tires?
35-inch MTRs.
Okay. And actually, you just won a raffle to got some new tires, didn't you?
Yeah, we went to the Great Smoky Mountain Trail Ride down in Tennessee, just outside Oliver Springs. There's a place out there called Wind Rock. It's about 300 miles of trails, about 70-some thousand acres.
Nice.
We spent a week out there, and at the last day of the thing, they had a raffle, and they had a driver's raffle. And they called my number on the driver's raffle. My boy went up, and it was kind of a dirty Santa for 3 drivers, and they had 3 envelopes. You could pick A, B, or C. The first two envelopes were picked. When Garrett went up, instead of picking C, he stole B, and since he was the last one, he could steal any of them. So
Nice.
he ended up getting a set of 5 BF Goodrich tires, and we just got them dropped off on the garage the other day. I appreciate BFG for their donation and support of the trail systems, and we'll definitely put those 37 inches to use.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I'm in need of some tires, but unfortunately, I can't run 16 inches.
Yeah, MTRs. Second set of them out here. They're awesome. They wear really well. They don't slice. They don't cut. They do good in the mud and the rocks. Perfect East Coast tire.
Nice, nice. All right, so what's powering this thing?
Inline 6-cylinder, 4.5 liter.
Yep, same as it's the same thing as
Same
Jones,
thing
right?
as Jones.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing difference between Jones's and mine is mine's a speed density system. It's before ODB2.
Okay.
Where he's got the ODB2-ish, I say, because it's not quite there. They didn't do that till '96, but
Nice.
that has mass airflow.
Okay.
Mine's just a little quicker.
A little quicker.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So your transmission is different, right?
Yeah, the transmission in this guy is a 442. It come out of basically like a 10-passenger bus, so it's definitely a heavy-duty transmission compared to the newer ones. The 443s is a more
Nice.
lightweight, economical transmission.
Gotcha, gotcha. And transfer case?
It's all stock.
It's all stock.
Same,
Okay.
Same as his.
But it's all-wheel drive.
It's all-wheel drive.
Yep.
Yep.
And then you have how many miles do you have on this one?
Just shy of 400,000.
Okay, and that's on the body, chassis, and everything like that, but we did have to rebuild your engine?
Yeah, at 299,970 miles, the head gasket started leaking. So when we pulled the head gasket out, there was a little bit of wear, so we ended up boring over 10,000 over, and then put a new gasket in, did a valve job, and she's been up and running ever since. I've had her now for about 14 years. I call her name is Dippity. Which is actually short for serendipity, which is what my daughter named the vehicle. And she kind of named that because of when we bought it. I've had several bunches of Toyotas and Chevys and Fords throughout my off-wheeling adventures. But this one kind of brought the family together and introduced us to a whole bunch of different friends in different places. And we've just really enjoyed the outdoors with her. So she kind of named her Serendipity.
Nice.
We call her Dippity.
Nice. So now the next question is actually going to be a little long-winded. So what kind of modifications have you done to this thing?
How much film you got on that card?
I got plenty. What do you got?
We do a lot of things over the years. When I bought the truck, I actually got a good deal on it. The guy was selling it because the gas mileage, our gas prices were pushing $4 or $5 a gallon at the time, 14 years ago when it hit. and it wasn't running very well, and the brakes were sticking. It didn't have any power, but it actually came with the front ARB bumper. It came with a Kmart bumper, which I since replaced the Kmart with a 4x4 Labs. The Kmart is a great bumper. It has a lot of flexibility in it, but it hangs down about 6 or 7 inches. So anytime you're going over an obstacle, it kind of drags before anything, because the trailer hitch was built into it. So with the 4x4 Labs, it's a much tighter. This has a better departure angle. So there's less rear end to hit the ground. I've got a 1-inch body lift on it, and I've got a 3-inch Dobson flexible spring, basically the same springs that Jones has on his. It's very flexy when you get off road. It's a nice ride. It's smooth. The 1-inch body lift allowed me to get the frame or get the chassis body a little bit off the chassis to get a little bit more air above the catalytic converter. The floorboard on the passenger side has a tendency to get kind of hot.
Yes.
With 2 catalytic converters sitting right underneath your feet. So that was there. Plus, it gives you a little bit more. I always try to keep my vehicle as low as I can to ground level, so that I don't have a high center of gravity. This helps stability off-road. So the body lift gets your tires a little bit more room to stuff up into the fenders, so I don't need to run any special spacers or offset rims. The factory ones work really good. The factory Toyota rims are actually 16x8, so for a 315 or a 35-inch tire, it actually fits pretty good. Gives you a nice little bit of a profile on it, so they can protect the rims. We've done custom front end work as far as the front end goes. When you start to raise the vehicles a little bit, your axle will actually start to tilt up, and then when you turn, your wheels will be turning like this instead of like this, so that causes the death wobble in some instances. So rotating the axle around, there's a couple different ways you can do it. I actually modified the front brackets on the axle so that I could take the axle and set it back around with the lift. And I actually pulled the pins out of the front bolt so I could rotate the axle, took it to an alignment shop, and put some bolts in there, and we basically adjusted it to where it was perfect caster, and then locked it in place, then came back home and welded everything back up permanent. So that helps with drivability. It also helps in maintaining the life of the tire. I got a Delta Panhard bar in the rear. When you tend to jack these up, the Panhard bar kind of grabs one side of the frame and then one side of the axle. So as you jack it up, the axle kind of slides over one side. You can put an extension bar on there, but then when you sit, now you have a longer travel for the axle. And on flat land, it works good, but once you get off road, it actually makes the problem worse in some aspects. So by taking the Panhard bar and trying to keep it as close to level as you can, that maintains traction both on the road and off the road, so that you're not rubbing fender wells and blowing out fenders.
Nice. And you did some storage in the back, right?
Yeah, there's actually where the spare tire used to be, my 35 wouldn't fit in there anymore, so it was kind of dead space. So I cut that part of the floor out and made a storage box in there.
Can we see it? Or is it covered? Yeah.
So I got plenty of space in here. I normally have a shelf that mounts right here that sits about this high, where I have my ARB refrigerator when I'm on long extension trips. And it folds up out of the way where we can take it off. But the storage tray is basically in here, and you can pull stuff out of here it goes down about 12 inches. So I've got all my recovery gear, I got spare parts, tools, jumper cables, snatch blocks, stuff like that. Everything that we can think of that we don't need floating around in the back of the truck.
Sure. And it also appears that you have a teenager.
Yeah, I have a teenager.
Since I see, what's that, a 10-inch subwoofer?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh wait, the roof vents, the hood vents, right?
Hood vents?
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Yeah, they basically came off of like a 90s model Trans Am. And idling in the woods on the trail, it seemed to be a lot of heat building up inside, and I was looking for ways to kind of get the heat out from underneath the radiator, so instead of going up underneath the truck. So I modified the hood to put those in, and it allows a nice 2 little chimneys when you're sitting there with the radiator blowing through them. Yep.
And if you get really hungry, you can put your lunch up there and heat it up.
Yeah, there's plenty of room in there. That's actually a mod that people have taken some wire rack and basically hooked it off of the, because the exhaust comes off the passenger side, and you have a nice little space. They've actually made a wire rack right there, and it's a burrito warmer. That's what they call it.
Yes. All right, what was the most groundbreaking mod that you've done to this?
I don't know, probably buying it.
Okay, well that would be a good step from the beginning.
Probably out of everything, the most functional, best bang for the buck probably would have been putting 488 gears in it. One of the other things that I'll probably do later on down the road is they make a underdrive gear for the transfer case. It basically gives it instead of the 2.1, it makes it like a 2.6. Or is it 3.12? I forget. There's a couple of them out there. But with the 35s, with the factory 410 gears or 411s, it was kind of tight. When you go to accelerate, you need a little bit of space.
Yeah.
And it was always hunting gears. As you're driving down the interstate trying to maintain 55, 60, it'd be looking for overdrive or second or third. So putting the gears in made drivability on the street a lot better. It also brought back the performance. With 488 gears, with the factory 32-inch tires with 410s, 488 gears with 35s are just a little bit more on the power side. A 36-inch tire would be a factory mesh between the tire size and the gear size. So 35s are just a little below 35s, really. Especially when they got a few miles on them, but it works out good. I'm able to still get down the road in overdrive, and I don't have to worry about shifting gears if I get a little bit of a grade or anything.
Gotcha. And I take it the 37s would be okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not going to get too.
No, Garrett's ran 37 MTRs on here, military tires on 16.5 rims. He's ran those on here for probably a year or so.
Gotcha.
He swaps them off between this one and his little mini truck he's building.
Nice. So what exactly is next for it? What do you plan on doing? Besides putting the brand new tires on there.
Well, I need to get some bead locks. I went with they don't make a lot of 37-inch 16s, so I actually went with a 17-inch tire. A lot of the Toyota 17-inch rims are all 6-inch wide, or 7-inch wide rather. They're not wide enough for the 37 by 1350s we got. We need at least an 8.5-inch rim. So yeah. So reason why I went with a little wider tire is if you noticed on the side over here, there's a little bit of a dent on the quarter panel from a rock. So with
I got that on the previous filming.
With the 37-inch tires, we can have a little bit wider, and that'll give us a little bit more of a kick out from the rock to try to protect the body a little bit when we're off road, kind of teetering on the side of rolling over.
Gotcha.
As we've gotten used to the vehicle, it seems to find its way onto tougher and tougher trails. I don't know if it's just my boys kind of pushing it, or if we're just exploring what we can do. But the last couple of times out, we've had fun, but we've picked up a little bit of body damage. So trying to find some way to keep that in check.
Yes. Especially since you drive this to the trail.
Yeah.
At least you did today.
Most every time we drive it to the trail. Now, if we're going to be going to like Tennessee, we towed this on a trailer in my Ford, and with all of our camping stuff, and we still got 16 miles a gallon, whereas this guy gets about 14 miles a gallon going down the road by itself.
Yes. And if you guys want to see that trailer, there is another video that I did, because I borrow the trailer all the time, and which I do appreciate. Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
And it definitely comes in handy. She's a little bit big though for the tiny little pumpkin, but it definitely tows really well. So, all right. So now the next one, you might have some comments. But what do you think is the best years for the Land Cruiser 80?
That's giving away trade secrets there. If I start telling you what the best year is, it's going to make them hard for me to find when I'm looking for another one.
Oh, don't worry, I'll find you one.
It's kind of a tough question. There's a couple quirky things with some of the cruisers in different years. If I were to build my favorite Land Cruiser in an 80 series, it would probably be a early 91 or 92 body with a 94 or newer, or probably a 95, 96, or even a 97 drivetrain, because the 91 bodies were very robust as far as hand crank windows, no power locks, no sunroof. The interior was a heavy duty cloth that still lasts well today. When all these came in, time they got into the 93s, the price range in Toyotas, they wouldn't let any base models come in. Everything either came in fully loaded with sunroofs and all the options, or at the dock, they actually did an upgrade. They basically did replaced all the cloth seats with leather seats. The leather seat is just not the same quality. It hasn't lasted. That's one of the biggest problems with these things, is the interior upholstery starts to go.
Yeah.
The power windows they are getting weak. The windows get slow and stuff like this. The sunroof, you're always messing around with a little bit of leak in it, or a little bit of noise from the vibrations. And I've probably used the sunroof 3 or 4 times since I've had it. I mean, it's not practical for off-road use, really.
Yeah.
So if I were to go buy one, it'd probably be looking at like a 95. 95 is you got the benefits of ODB2 with mass airflow, and a little bit of a somewhat computer that you can make a little bit of changes to. You really can't do any mods to the speed density because the VRM just gets out of whack, or
sure.
VRF.
Which year has it the factory lockers?
In the 93 to 97, it was an option. 7% of the Land Cruisers made in those years had factory lockers.
Nice, nice.
Front and rear. They've done, again, when Toyota brought the vehicles over here, they've kind of dumbed them down. The European ones have center diff lockers and diesels and different things like that. They give them a lot more rigidity and a lot more functionality, but they just kind of took them over here and tried to turn them into pavement princesses.
And they're still doing that.
Yeah.
On my Tacoma, I can't even override the rear locker. I have to be in 4 low, which I still have to turn it off to get there.
You can use for that.
Not for the 3rd gen.
Okay.
Everybody on Tacoma world nobody can find it because you have to actually hack into the computer in order to do it.
Yeah, computers. Again, another reason why to go to the 91, 92.
Yeah, there you go.
So the only bad thing about the 91s and 92s is actually there's 2 bad things. One, they did not have a full float rear axle. They have a semi-float. So if you break something on the axle, the tire comes off.
Tire comes off.
So 93s and newer with ABS all have full float axles.
Nice.
The full float axle also brought in the locker for the rear locker that you could have as an option. And the other thing was the 91s, 92s had the 3FE motor, which is basically a tractor motor. It is a little bit underpowered for the weight of the Land Cruiser.
Sure.
It's very reliable and very robust in that aspect, but it just
needs a little more
on power.
Gotcha.
So the 4.5 is definitely the way to go.
So what you're saying is that since you did all the modifications to the chassis, suspension, and axles and everything on this, once you guys tear the body all the pieces, we'll just pull that off and put a 91 back on.
Exactly, that's my plan.
Okay, there you go.
Early model on there. The dashes changed in 95. They went to a different style dash and console, but 94 back is pretty much the same.
All right.
There's a few differences in the seats between 91 and 92 and these airbags and stuff that they were getting ready for.
Sure. All right, well, thanks for talking to us about your cruiser, man. This thing is awesome. Just like with Jones, I've been wheeling with these guys for 10, 12 years or so. And, it's been great. They've been very supportive while I'm actually building a Jeep. They only pick on me every once in a while.
We just pick on you because we couldn't get you out here. You're always working on it.
Yeah, I'm always working on it. I can never get out here. But now I'm out here. And now I have my camera girl, Rachel, is actually going to be driving it today. It'll be her first time with a manual, so it'll be great.
Let's go hit some trails and clean up the park a little bit so we can come back here again.
Yes, we are out here trying to clean it up once again. This is basically the same exact trail that we just went on about a month ago, and we're already filling our bags up with trash because it fills up that fast. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it's gonna be the walk around. We're gonna get back on the trail. Don't forget to subscribe, share it, whatever, and we'll see you as we go around.
And remember, pack it in, pack it out.
Exactly. If you bring it in, you better bring it out. And that includes beer cans. Anyway, take it easy, have fun, and we'll talk to you later.